Welcome back to You Can Understand Shakespeare. It's good to see you. I hope you're well. And you will be even weller, or perhaps more well off, once you understand Act 4, Scene 1 of Hamlet, which you can so long as you just understand, hey, I need a little more prior knowledge. I gotta understand that this is supposed to be a performance, and it's poetry. If I approach it through those lenses, with my help, John Donovan, former English teacher, professional actor, lover of Shakespeare, we will understand it no problem. Let's just get into it. Act 4, Scene 1. Enter Fortinbras and a captain with his army over the stage. Now, we've heard of Fortinbras before, but this is the first time that we've seen him. Fortinbras is kind of in a similar situation to Hamlet. Fortinbras is the young prince of Norway as opposed to Denmark. His uncle is currently ruling. Now, Norway has been overtaken by the Danes. So King Claudius is technically sort of not occupying, but sort of having control of Norway. Young Fortinbras was raising an army to try to take back the land that his father, the late King Fortinbras Sr., lost. So there's definitely some comparisons. Fortinbras and Hamlet are probably foils. I mean, they're both princes where their uncles are ruling, where their late fathers are dead. They both want to reclaim their kingdom. So Fortinbras was raising an army to try to take back that land. Claudius hears about this and nips it in the bud. So instead, the king of Norway, Fortinbras' uncle, says, you know what? You stop doing that. Fortinbras agrees. And Fortinbras says, well, can I raise an army to go attack Poland instead? And he goes, yeah, absolutely. Here's all this money. Go ahead. And then Fortinbras goes, and can I pass through Denmark to attack Poland? Claudius is like, yeah, that sounds great. So Fortinbras is showing up on the coast of Denmark. So Fortinbras says, go, captain. From me, greet the Danish king. So go greet King Claudius for him. Tell him that by his license, by his permission, Fortinbras craves the conveyance of a promised march over his kingdom. So Fortinbras, he's referring to himself in third person. But also, this is what you're going to tell him. That Fortinbras craves, he wants, the conveyance of a promised march. The escort for a promised march over his kingdom. So he's going to be marching through the kingdom to get to Poland. You know the rendezvous. If that his majesty would aught with us, we shall express our duty in his eye. You know the rendezvous, you know the meeting point. If that his majesty would do anything with us, we shall express our duty in his presence and let him know so. I will do it, my lord. And Fortinbras says, go softly on. Go softly, slowly, circumspectly on. So they all leave, the captain remains. So Fortinbras' army is here on the coast. And it seems like Fortinbras is actually going to make good on his promise. Now maybe it's still all a ruse, but he doesn't say, haha, we've arrived and we've tricked them. But now we need to know that Fortinbras and his army is here, and he's waiting for an escort to march through Denmark to get to Poland. At which point enter Hamlet, Rosencrantz, and Guildenstern. They are on their way, they're here at the coast, they're on their way to a ship to sail to England, which is a trap that King Claudius has set to kill Hamlet. So, Hamlet asks, good sir, whose powers are these? These powers is these forces. And he's asking this to the captain. The captain says, they are of Norway, sir. How purposed, sir, I pray you. I pray you means just I ask you. How purpose means what is their purpose? Against some part of Poland. So again, this is the actual purpose. They're going to go fight Poland rather than Denmark. Who commands them, sir? The nephew to Old Norway, Fortinbras. Their Old Norway is referring to the king of Norway as the title itself. Fortinbras. Goes it against the main of Poland, sir, meaning the heart of Poland, or for some frontier? Truly to speak, and with no addition, meaning no exaggeration, we go to gain a little patch of ground that hath in it no profits but the name. So there's nothing worthwhile about the land that we're getting except for just the name of it. To pay 5 ducats, 5, I would not farm it, nor will it yield to Norway or the Pole a ranker rate, should it be sold in fee. So to pay 5 ducats, this is a type of currency, I would not farm it. I would literally not turn it into a farm, but also here it means lease. I would not lease it to someone, nor will it yield to Norway or the Pole. A ranker rate should be sold in fees. Should it be sold outright as a freehold? A ranker rate is more generous return. Hamlet says, why then, the Polak never will defend it. The Polak just refer to the Polish. They're not going to defend this. Hamlet says, yes, it is already garrisoned. 2,000 souls and 20,000 ducats will now debate the question of this straw. Straw is a trifle. So you have 2,000 souls and 20,000 ducats, 20,000 forms of currency are now going to debate the question of this meaningless piece of land. This is the imposthume of much wealth and peace. The imposthume means the abscess. So it's a like a pustule. It's like this bubbling up, gross infection of much wealth and peace that inward breaks and shows no cause without. It ruptures internally without an external symptom. Why the man dies. So if an imposthume, an abscess, inside breaks and there's no outward cause, the man can die. Essentially, with too much money and too much peace, people start to find problems. They're fighting over this meaningless piece of land because there's nothing else more meaningful outward to do. I humbly thank you, sir, for the information. And the captain says, God be with you, sir. And if you read this, B apostrophe W-I apostrophe U, it's like, what word is that? Is that even English? It's just God be with you. The apostrophe is just sort of a cutting off. It's just sort of shortening it. Exit the captain. And the Rosencrantz says, will it please you go, my lord? Hamlet, I'll be with you straight. Go a little before. So go a little bit before me. Rosencrantz, Guildenstern, and the others move aside. So he says, will it please you to go? Will it please you to go on the ship? Do Rosencrantz and Guildenstern know about this plot to kill the king? To kill Hamlet? Probably not. While they are sort of courtesans, while they are trying to glean the king's favor, they are Hamlet's friends as well. Maybe they aren't. That'd be more of a director's choice, but it doesn't seem like they are. So now Hamlet is going to have another one of his soliloquies. He says, how all occasions do inform against me and spur my dull revenge. All occasions, everything that's happening, inform against, they accuse me, and spur, they hurry on my dull revenge. His revenge has been dull because he's not sharp and to the point. What is a man if his chief good, the primary good, and market, his profit of his time, be but to sleep and feed? If the best thing, the chief good of a man's life is to sleep and be fed, what is he? A beast, no more. The animals, all they do is eat and sleep. And reproduce. That's pretty much all that they're concerned about. If men are concerned with merely these things, what good is he? Sure, he that made us, that's God, he that made us with such large discourse is reasoning faculty, looking before and after, gave us not that capability and godlike reason to fust in us unused. So he did not give us looking before and after, being able to see the past and see the future. Animals just live in the present. They don't really have, they can learn and they can incur trauma, but they're not like reflecting the past. They have no awareness of the future. So he that gave us reason did not give us that capability, that intelligence, and godlike reason to fust, meaning grow moldy, in us unused. God wants us to use our sense of reason. Now, whether it be bestial oblivion, the animal-like inability to remember, oblivion, failure to remember, bestial referring to beasts, or some craven scruple of thinking too precisely on the event. So whether these are two extremes, completely forgetting everything, or being scrupulous and thinking too precisely on something that has happened, overthinking. A thought which quartered hath but one part wisdom, and ever 3 parts coward. So a thought which quartered, which is stored in the brain, is made up of 4 parts. 1 is wise, and 3 are coward. I do not know why yet I live to say this things to do. So why I do not, this revenge, why do I live to say that this thing is still to do, meaning why have I not done this deed? Sith, meaning since I have cause, and will, and strength, and means to do it. I have a good reason to do it, I have the willpower, I want to do it, I have the ability to do it, why have I not done it? Examples gross as earth exhort me. Examples gross as earth, gross being lowly, and just gross. So lowly, gross, they exhort me, they encourage me, they challenge me to do this. Witness this army. So he's now looking at the army of Norway. Witness this army of such mass, it's large, and charge cost, led by a delicate and tender prince. So he doesn't have a good opinion, really, of Fortinbras. Fortinbras he thinks is delicate and tender. He's young. Whose spirit with divine ambition puffed makes mouths at the invisible event. His spirit is puffed up, is inspired by divine ambition. He makes mouths at the invisible event, meaning he shows a scornful face to unforeseen outcomes. Exposing an invisible event as what's in the future, he's making faces at it. Exposing what is mortal and unsure to all that fortune, death, and danger dare, even for an eggshell, even for something that is worthless like an eggshell, this small piece of land. Rightly, to be great is not to stir without great argument, but greatly to find quarrel in a straw when honor's at the stake. So he has this remark on what greatness means. It's not to stir without a great argument, but greatly to find quarrel, to find a fight in a straw, and something not very important when your honor is at stake. So The footnote here says that it seems to me that true greatness lies not in rational restraint, but in noble action. Okay. How stand I then, that have a father killed, a mother stained, excitement's urgings of my reason and my blood, and let all sleep, while to my shame I see the imminent death of 20,000 men that for a fantasy and trick of fame go to their graves like beds, fight for a plot whereon the numbers cannot try the cause. So let's break that down for a second. So he says, how stand I then? What's my position? That I have a father killed. That's reason one that I should act. That a mother stained by this incestuous relationship with his uncle. So that's reason number two, he should act. Excitements, meaning urgings of my reason. I have a justifiable philosophy to act, right? That's reason number three. And my blood, my emotions, and I let all of these sleep. Well, to my shame, it is my shame that I see the imminent death of 20,000 men. This army is going to imminently die. They're going to give up their lives. Why? For a fantasy and a trick of fame. For this thing that doesn't even really matter. They go to their graves like beds. They fight for a plot of land, whereon the numbers cannot try the cause. That is not big enough for the army to fight on. It's too small even for this number of people, which is not tomb enough and continent to hide the slain. It is not big enough of a tomb or big enough of a container to hide everyone that will be killed. They're fighting over such a small piece of land. Oh, from this time forth, my thoughts be bloody or be nothing worth. So, he says from this time onward, my thoughts should be bloody. They should be about revenge, or they're not worth anything. Hamlet has a comparison problem. This is not the first time that he has compared himself to others. Remember earlier, he sees this actor show such emotion. He says, why am I not like this actor? Now he sees this army. He says, why am I not like this army? This army is going to their death for such a trifle cause. I have such a better reason to act, and yet I'm delaying. He beats himself up because he is yet to act. So here he has resolve. He says, if these men are willing to die for a piece of land that is so small that it can't even hold their entire army, then I am going to resolve to be bloody and get my revenge, or my thoughts are worth nothing. So he's becoming firm in purpose. But does he know that he's falling into a trap should he hop onto this boat for England? Well, to find out as we keep reading Act 4. Thanks so much for listening.